Assalamualaikum, my name is Umi Adawiyah binti Nurhaidi. In this video, I'm going to explain the 6 professionals in the construction value chain. The first one is architect. So, an architect is a grand designer who creates the form or body of the building. A building usually begins with an idea or a concept in the architect's mind. But the architect doesn't just design, they are the one who transform the specifications from the developer into working blueprint. They make sure that the building complies with the regulatory and technical requirement, while keeping in mind the primary considerations of materials, functionality, aesthetics, and their environmental impact. But the architect cannot work alone. They need to work with others to translate their master blueprint into a physical building. The second one is civil and structural engineer. Civil and structural engineer is the math and science whiz that produce the structural designs, setting the bones and joints to form body of a building. A CNS engineer needs to decide how to build a solid frame and determine the location and size of every beam and column in a building. They also has to make efficient use of materials to construct the building in an environmentally sustainable manner. CNS engineer is responsible for creating practical and safe structure that can withstand anything the weather might bring. For example, the wind, the sun, and the temperature changes. Next, we're moving on to mechanical and electrical engineer, which is M&E engineer. M&E engineer is the expert responsible for connecting the veins, injecting the life force that brings a building into being. Every modern building needs electricity, lights, air conditioning, and ventilation system to become a lining, breathing, habitable place. M&E engineer is the expert responsible for connecting the veins, injecting the life force that brings a building into being. Every modern building needs electricity, lights, air conditioning, and ventilation system to become a living, breathing, habitable place. M&E engineer is the person that takes care of that, making sure of the efficiency of energy and water and poverty indoor living. For every project, there must be someone to take care of the money issues. The quantity surveyor is the one that manages the cost of a building project, from the initial calculations to the final figures. They must be skilled in balancing act, analyzing the numbers, assessing the risk, and preparing the tenders and contracts. That's a critical role, consolidating all the informations and numbers to come up with the tender specifications and contract. All this while ensuring that everything meets the required standard and quality. As the actual construction starts, someone has to ensure the smooth running of the project. The project manager work revolves around 3 very important elements, which is time, cost, and quality. They became the key overseas once the construction's work begins. Organizing the resources to turn plans for a new building into a reality. That means planning the time frame for all the necessary tasks. Getting the project started from the initial stage of drafting to the final code repeat, and to ensure that a project get completed on time and within budget. So the building incompleted. Last but not least, facility manager. Facility manager is like a doctor who performs regular health checks on a building to ensure that they are well maintained and in tip-top condition. Like a good caretaker, a facility manager looks after the needs and the interests of the building and its occupant, and comes up with ways to continually improve a building's amenities and services.